This video will show you how to replace the driver's side master window switch on a Hyundai Sonata. This will be mounted to your front door panel. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. To remove the window switch, we're going to have to remove the door panel. So with that said, let's make our way all the way up to the upper corner. Now this small triangular panel will be removed. It has two tabs down along the bottom. They're kind of like hook tabs. Up along the top is where we actually need to carefully pry along, pulling this out and away. But keep in mind, you do have speaker wire behind this area. To remove this, we're just starting up along the top with that trim tool. Make our way in between. There we are. That pops right off of there. Now you can see that one mounting clip here. And then as I turn it, we can see the bottom locating tabs. Now it's time to disconnect our electrical wiring harness. For this, it does actually have a locking tab. We'll make sure we have the connector in this orientation. Now for that locking tab, it's hidden right underneath this foam pad. We're just going to press this in, and you should be able to pull this out of place. Once it's disconnected, we can see the small locking tab. It's very small. A quick inspection of both ends for corrosion. This looks good. Now we're moving along to removing the rest of the door panel. This is going to be held in place with several Phillips head screws. A lot of them are going to be protected with a plastic cover. As we make our way along the inboard side here, closest to the body of the vehicle, this is where you're going to find that you have two small circular ports. Typically these will have a protective cover. Just go ahead and remove that. You can use a pick or a flathead screwdriver. Okay, there's that. Quick inspection. Behind that, a Phillips head screw, as I mentioned. Let's make our way down to the next. There's that next one. As you saw, that screw removed the plastic adapter. You can remove this one as well if necessary. There we are. We don't have to worry about losing it. Now we'll make our way towards the inside door handle. As you look inside this area, you're going to find a small square trap door. Go ahead and dislodge that trap door and remove the screw. There we are. There's that mounting screw. We're making our way down to the grab handle next. Now, as I look down inside the grab handle area, typically you're going to find another one of those plastic trap doors to be removed. This one looks as though it's been damaged. I'm going to remove my Phillips head screw nonetheless. There we are. Now your vehicle should not necessarily have this. This is actually part of the door panel. You can see inside there. The screw is what we're looking at here. Now from that grab handle, we're coming back up along the top corner of our door panel. We have another area that we're going to have to make our way into. Just remove that plastic cover. You've seen those. Phillips head screw. You can remove that plastic adapter as well. Now we can make our way all the way down to the bottom of the door panel. We have two more Phillips head screws. Now while we're down here, we're continuing on with our plastic trim tool. We need to carefully start separating the door panel from the door itself. We're going to go along the outboard side of this seal here. There we are. All right. So now we can move the door panel around quite a bit. There's a couple more things we want to pay attention to. Along the inside door handle, we have this small trim panel. We can remove that since this moves fairly easily. Something else to think about is if you were to try to lift this up while the window is in the upright position, it's going to be fairly difficult because we have the window sweep. If you can power down the window, go ahead and do that now. Put the key in the on position, power it down. So now since we have the window down, we can easily reach in this area. We're going to be lifting up on the door panel. We're going to gently pull it in this direction and continue on up. We have the door panel pulled away, and now we can see a whole bunch of wiring harnesses along the backside. This is what we need to be aware of so we don't cause any damage. Let's start dislodging them. We're starting over in this far corner. Has a small locking tab. It's on the inboard side. Just squeezed on it with my thumb, pulled it out of place. Now there is still some more wiring harnesses, but for these, let's just go ahead and pivot this as necessary so we can have a closer look. Now I have this pivoted so I can gain access to each one of my electrical connectors. Along here is our window switch, which is what we're going to be replacing. We'll start with the window switch wiring harness. I was just pressing in on that locking tab. You can see it right there. Disconnected it. No corrosion. Now for the next one, we have another locking tab. Squeeze that in. No corrosion there. Last one all the way down at the bottom area here. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and get this into an area that we can have it upside down and start removing the mounting hardware, holding the window switch into the panel itself. Now we have our door panel over at the bench so we can have a close look. We can see along the bottom of our window switch here. To be able to remove this, it's going to be easiest if we remove 10 Phillips head screws, making their way across this area. We can dislodge this panel to easily gain access to all 4 of our mounting screws holding this in place. Now all 10 of these mounting screws should look the same. You do not need to worry about mixing them up. One thing I would mention is there is one hidden screw. It's going to be behind this rectangular insulator. Typically for this, you just want to go ahead and feel along this area. You could gently separate the foam panel and remove that screw. There's that. Before I go too far this way, we have 2 screws down in this area. Let's remove those now. Let's continue down the line here. Now where each one of those screws are, what you're going to find is that the plastic panel behind here actually goes through a little. So what you need to do is grab onto this area, gently start flexing it away. You can see how it pulls as it should here. Now I'm just applying upward pressure. I'm going to continue on down the line. Okay. Now all of this is dislodged. The area with those 2 screws down in here also need to be gently pressed. Now let's continue on pressing this through. Let's have a look from the other side. There we are. We can remove this. Let's have a look at the inboard side next. We can start removing our 4 Phillips head screws holding this in place. We can see 2 along this side. The other 2 are in the exact same positioning on the other side. Now there is an important note about these. I'll show you in 1 second here. Let's go ahead and get them out of here. Now, as you look at these 2 screws, you can tell that they're different colors. That's not necessarily the most important part. Look at the length of them. You can tell that one is a little longer than the other. That's important to note for the installation process. Along either side of the window switch, you're also going to find that you have a small locking tab that needs to be dislodged. For this, we're going to be using our small pocket screwdriver. Gently pry up on the tab while pulling away on the switch. You're going to have to make your way to the other side, repeat the process, and then just go ahead and slide it right on out of here. Make our way under here. Okay, you can see that starting to pull away. That's what we're looking for. There it is, friend. Of course, prior to installation of any brand new part, we need to make sure we clean and inspect our mounting areas. For this, we have our plastic panel. When cleaning this, we're only using a clean rag. You typically don't have to use any type of detergents. We don't want to cause any damage to the plastic. Just make sure everything is in good, usable order. That's one side. Let's just have a quick look at the other. Now we can install our brand new master window switch. Of course, we need to make sure we have it in the proper orientation. As we bring this into position, make sure everything aligns as it should. Press it down, listen for a click from each of your 2 locking tabs, and then continue on to all 4 of your mounting screws. Double check to make sure it's seated all the way around. Continue on with your 4 screws. Now keep in mind, we do have 2 different types of screws. The longer screws went towards where the mirror switch would be located. Let's get this first screw in here. One last confirmation to make sure that's completely secured in place. Let's get ready to install this onto the door panel next. Now, as I start bringing the switch panel into position here, I just want to show you one area. We actually have these 3 hooked tabs here. They're going to have to roll under here. So what we want to do is come in at an angle. We're going to continue on by pressing everything up against the panel along this outer edge here, and then we're rolling this portion in. Now we can have a look from the other side. As we look along the inboard side, we're looking along where the switch panel is first. You can see where the plastic panel is that we pushed into position. We want to make sure the circular tabs are pressed up into their proper ports. Okay, this looks like it's aligned fairly well here. We're starting to install our Phillips head screws next. They're all in. Let's go ahead and snug them up. We have our hidden screw up in here. All right, that's all 10 screws. Just double check to make sure everything's properly in place and we can get back over to the vehicle. Now, as we bring the door panel over towards being in position, I have it at an angle so I can continue on with each one of my electrical connectors as needed. We'll start down with the mirror switch. We're just going to take this connector, we'll line it up, press it in, listen for a click from that. After our audible click, we'll give it a tug. It should not slide out of place. We have our next 4-wire connector. That's going to go into this port right along here. An audible click from that. It's definitely secure. It's time for the window switch wiring harness next. Audible click from that. That's secured as well. Now we do still have one more electrical connector for this. Let's go ahead and pivot this. Okay, let's line this up here. Before we bring the door panel into position, let's just have a look along this area here. On the inboard side, we do have several push clips making their way around. We want to make sure they're all still intact. It's an important note. Now we're going to take this door panel, we're going to have to come up nice and high over the top area here where the window would be. Coming up here. Just a couple light taps. After that's completely seated in the downward position, we need to pay attention all the way around the door panel. We have those push tabs that I mentioned to you. They need to fit into their corresponding ports. Once they're aligned, you can just go ahead and tap this in. Now with that door panel pressed into place, we're going to continue on with the installation of our hardware. I'm going to start up along the top area here. I just have a trim panel. We're going to connect our speaker wire. You just want to line up the locking tab areas and slide it together. Just double check to make sure that's secured in place. As we continue on with the installation, we have these two hooked areas, and then of course we do have our one tab up top. As far as those hooked areas, you can see that there are slots in the door down here, and then you have the circular port up here. When you go to bring this in position, we want to make sure that we have the electrical connector for our small speaker. You're going to try to tuck that down in behind the door panel here. It doesn't need to go all the way in, it just sits right along this ridge. Along the inboard side, we have our small circular adapters and our Phillips head screws. Make sure you're installing the proper one into the proper port. We'll install our circular plastic cover. That should just slide right in there. Let's install the trim panel around the inside door handle. Just go ahead and take hold of this, slide it straight on through. In the center, you should have a Phillips head screw. Go ahead and start it in and snug it up. Go ahead and protect the area. Let's make our way down into the grab handle next. Now in this area, we already know that our door panel is broken, so I'm just using my plastic spacer, but typically you would just take your screw, bring it down in through there, make sure it's tight, and then reinstall the plastic cover. Let's continue along the outboard side next. Let's get this one in here. At this point, we're making our way down to the bottom of the door panel. We have two more Phillips head screws. Okay friend, we finished the installation of our master window switch. Now the next thing you want to do is put the key in the on position, and of course you're going to test the functionality. Perfect. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.